It's January and there is nothing for sale. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing a lot right now from my clients is we do our red arrow call, which is the call after we fully pre-approve them. You know, we get on the phone, we talk about closing costs, expected payments, debt to income, but we also go online together and we look at the market. We look at what's going on in the market. And right now, well, it's January. There's not a lot for sale. And a lot of the stuff for sale is stuff you don't want to buy. Okay, and people are like, oh God, I'm never gonna get a house. No, it's like this every year. So today I'm gonna talk to you about why there are less listings in winter than you will see in spring, summer, and fall. And there's a couple big factors. So, number one, excuse me, people are distracted during the winter. You've got Christmas, you've got Hanukkah, you've got Kwanzaa, you've got all these holidays, you've got New Year's, you've got Thanksgiving. You have non-stop family, work pressure for parties. People don't love the concept of having to deal with selling their house in the middle of all of that. Right? Because when you're selling your house, you're vacuuming, you're making the house look nice, you're doing all these different factors, and the concept of a bunch of people traipsing through your house during this isn't great. The other thing is a lot of people don't want people coming through their house when they have Christmas presents out. I know that sounds really silly, but theft does happen. You hear all the time about how you have to lock up your medicines and everything else when you're selling your house because of thieves. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Welcome to my last month. Yes, I tried Zyrtec, Claritin, everything. I am just an allergenic person. Okay, so they don't want to deal with people during the holidays. There's already enough stress. There's enough going on. There's kids coming home from college. There's grandma's visiting. There's a lot. So that's one factor. Another factor, because you're like, well, wait, what about the people that don't live there? Great question. Well, two things. Number one, people, if the house is empty, it's gonna be cold. And an investor doesn't really wanna pay to heat a house all the time while it's on the market. And realistically, that's what you'd be doing to make the house get top value. You're gonna have a really tough time selling a house to someone where they walk in and they can see their breath. Okay, weather is a huge factor. And that plays into really the biggest reason. Houses that sell in the winter do not get top dollar. Statistically, if you look at the averages, they don't get the most money. And the reason is they do not show as well, okay? They don't show as well because A, it could be outside, B, it could be cold outside. If you have to trudge through snow to get into the house, it's less romantic than driving up to the house, the sun's sparkling, there's daffodils sprouting. It's very visual. And for people who are like, oh, it's just square footage, no, it's really not the way sales works. And any realtor worth their salt is gonna try to present the seller's house in the best light. The best light is in spring, summer, and fall. Seriously, like right now in my office is usually beaming with light, okay? I have 4 lights on to make it so I am not in a cave right now for you guys. That is what winter light does, and that's just in California, okay? So if you start looking back east, you guys are dealing with snow. We have snow in California, which is even weirder. You're dealing with snow. California, we've had hideous rain. People don't want to deal with house hunting in torrential rain pours, in torrential snowstorms. People are cozied up inside. And that is what most realtors and sellers realize. A, they don't want to deal with it, and B, it's not when the house is going to show the best. So what you're going to start to see is across the country, as it warms up, you're going to see more listings. So in California, the rule's generally been the second week of February is where we start to see the market pick up. March and April are really those prime 2 months for us from what I've seen. And I think on the East Coast, it's similar, although a little bit delayed because sometimes you guys have weather that sticks with you longer. Although weather is so unpredictable right now. I was talking to Alexis on my team who's in North Carolina, and it was 75 degrees. And I was like, oh my God, it's like 50 here, I'm freezing. So very important that you guys keep in mind January, December, not accurate representations of what to expect with inventory. Now, do I expect there to be a flood of inventory this year? Probably not. I expect inventory to still be fairly limited, but the craziness of 2020 and 2021 is over. Okay, that's what I can see. It's over. And the way I gauge this is it's not by the media. Realistically, any news headline that you guys hear, just throw it in the trash, okay? Because it's clickbait, right? They get paid based on how many views, they get paid based on how many people click on the links within the articles, right? So what they're delivering you is not real to the moment. I'm on the ground, right? I'm licensed in 48 states. I talk to realtors and clients all day long, and I've seen a huge shift. And I've talked about this in my mortgage updates. You know, may you still be in an area where you write multiple offers? Yeah, sure. But am I seeing people crying because they offered $50,000 over and they didn't get a $300,000 house? No, I'm not seeing that. I saw a lot of that in April and May of 2021, but I'm not seeing that anymore. So if you're a buyer, I think it's actually a really good time to get into the market. If you're already qualified, just expect to be disappointed this month. Just expect it. Just, you know, if you find something this month, like, oh my goodness, it's like winning the lotto. It's not traditionally a month where you see great inventory. So for anyone who has their house listed right now, or realtors who want to argue with me, I'm sorry, but that's like factually true. Like, look it up. If someone's listing right now, the reason they're listing is because their realtor has said to them, well, we know that the market's hot right now, but we don't know what it's going to be in 3 months. But all data is pointing to it consistently, you know, being hot, not going up a ton. You know, I think we're going to see some stability this year, not going down, but I think we're going to see some stability. So if you're not pre-approved, I would recommend getting pre-approved second, third week of January if you're hoping to buy in the spring. And the reason I say towards the end of January is because you want to make sure you get your pre-approval fully underwritten, which is what we do, so that you're prepared to go shopping, you're prepared to write an offer. If you're ever like, well, I want to see a house and then I'll get pre-approved. Not the way to do it, because you're putting yourself in a pressure cooker situation where you're not going to be able to pick the best lender for yourself. You know, good lenders, like, are we going to give you a pre-approval in an hour on a Saturday? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's not our business model. Our business model is we do all of our homework up front. We do full education with you so that you understand what you're getting into. And if someone says, well, I don't want any of that, my response is always the same. I am not the lender for you then. Okay? And it's not because I'm trying to be rude, it's that I really believe in education. And I think it's really important you guys know what you get into, because I didn't when I first bought a house. So that is how we work. You guys could end up, you know, if you're waiting till the last minute with a lender that doesn't really know what they're doing or doesn't really care, just throws you into the max thing they can qualify you for, and you can end up house poor. So if you're thinking of buying this year, you know, if you're buying February, March, April, last 2 weeks of January is really when you want to start that pre-approval process. So if you guys have questions, you can always book a link on my calendar. I literally sit here all day long on the phone talking to you guys. I love it. You guys give me great content. You're fun to talk to. I love hearing your stories. You know, I love helping in any way I can, but we're happy to get you pre-approved. But the key point of this video, because there is a point always, is that if you're feeling dismayed because of what you're seeing in the market right now, totally normal for January. 2020 and 2021 were incredibly unusual years, very unusual. I think that's over. So I think we're gonna go back to a normal market, which means, you know, no good inventory this month, and then we'll start seeing some good stuff come spring. So as always, questions, comments, leave them. I am licensed in 48 states to do mortgages and happy to help.